it's my man right here. But this family, you guys got a reputation.
Oh,
can we go back?
A well-earned reputation.
But what that got, we didn't have a choice. My mother had brothers that were the worst of the worst. Okay, I had a daddy that was the worst of the worst. Okay, and
what's worse than the worst?
My daddy did a lot of shit. You know, like on 150th Street, like over there where Catton was, it was a place called the Red Rooster. I was named. They used to call me Rooster, right? Because I was named after that. Because he used to put deuces on me. I used to sell $2 bags of heroin. Okay, and I was a kid. I mean, a little kid, like 9.
9 years old.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And you was deuce.
I had deuces. And they couldn't even get over on me if they just came. You know what I'm saying? And I used to be up there with my dad, and my dad was Sugar Daddy, and my Uncle Dennis was Cheetah Baby. But they was known. And my dad was known, he kept razors and stuff in his mouth. Like, you know my sister, you know Dodie, right? That's what Dodie was known for. Dodie was just like how my father was, like with the razors. But it was the shit that they did. And because I always was under everybody, I was right there with them. They really taught me a lot of shit.
Right.
So I was really out there at an early age. So it's not like it's something that is something that I want to do. I thought that shit was right, and you're not going to tell me that it was wrong. Because the people that loved me taught me some of the stuff. In some ways, I kind of corrupted them. Like, all
the way.
He shook his head. Yes.
All the way.
Yeah. And, but you didn't know no better. We didn't have nothing.
Right.
You know, you understand what I'm saying? We didn't have a mother, like my mom didn't run the street. My mom didn't party. My mom didn't drink liquor. She didn't smoke cigarettes. She didn't do all that. My mom only knew how to be a wife and a mother. That was it. So everything we learned, we self-taught and from their and what we learned out there on the streets. You understand what I'm saying? She wasn't educated or any of these kind of things. We had to survive. We had, you know, when the worker come to the house to go through the cabinet type shit.
Social workers.
Yeah. That shit was real. So but I've been running away since I was like...
Yeah, because your mom didn't want that in the house.
No, she didn't know. It wasn't until we got a little older that my mother didn't know. She didn't know what none of that shit was. She didn't know. My mother don't know what anything is. Upstairs in the attic, I remember my mom went upstairs and she said, James, what's the shit up here in the attic? And he said, Millie, that ain't nothing but some damn baby powder. And that's when I OD'd. Because I went upstairs and put that shit all over me.
Yeah.
I OD'd off that shit.
I remember that story.
Yikes.
I didn't know. But the funny shit is going in and coming out the back. You understand what I'm saying? And going through the shit that I went through. So it's just a lot. Like, I don't drink Sunny Delight.
Why?
Because Sunny Delight is like methadone. Because methadone was in the goddamn refrigerator. And I drank that shit before. You understand what I'm saying? So,
damn, you was finding all the shit.
PTSD, that's what I said. Certain things that you don't want to touch no more.
I did a lot of shit. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not going to sit up here and go through a bunch of stuff because I'm not proud. But I've been through a lot. I went through a lot of shit. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that my thing with all the rest of them was the protective part of it. Like, I didn't want them to feel anything. So actually, everybody I was doing, I was saving me. With Gucci, it was Rara. It was my son that I lost. He replaced that. He was the element. They loved him. Him and Walker's relationship was not a relationship of no artist shit. They didn't have nothing to do. That was his brother. Woo. They were hurt. They loved him. They fucked the music business. We didn't care nothing about that shit. We don't care nothing about all that bullshit. It didn't mean anything. I let people run around and say I was living with him and going through that. It's my house. You know what I'm saying? Right. I let people make up all these fucking stories. They didn't know.
Right.
And Gucci can spend money. So even after I made money, he coming back. Auntie, he can sucker me out of whatever. He getting it. They gonna get whatever it is that they want. So I really never, like by the time the ending of it came, I lost out on everything. You understand? And then the people that I had that was supposed to be putting the stuff up for me where I could collect, they were collecting. It was like a lot of shit, but I didn't care about the money. You understand what I'm saying? But it's still on me. It's still on me because I put these people in place.
Right.
I did it. So I'm going to take that hit.
Take the responsibility.
I'm taking it. I put him there.
How did you? All right. From New York, you transitioned to Atlanta. What was the reason you moved?
I just need to get out of here. After my son's father was killed here, that was it for me. Because where my mind was going, my kids wouldn't have had their mother. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that I had to get out of here, and I had to do better for me and better for them. I just didn't want them going through that shit.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it was bad enough they had a corrupted father and a corrupted mother. You understand what I'm saying? We both couldn't be like that. So I remember one day I was sitting up there, and I was working too, cause I was working for BCW here, and in the group homes and stuff. I remember I called my sister one day and I said, I'm out of here. She said, yeah, right. I said, no, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to that airport. I'm going to call you when I get there. And I called the travel agent to tell her to get me a ticket, and I stopped all my checks because I was paying all my bills, and that shit, all my money went to all the bills in the house. I stopped every check.
One time, I'm out of here. You committed.
And I went cold turkey and went down there. And I said, when this money run out, I got to make it. I have no choice. And then I was tested. I went into Walmart. And I went into Walmart and I wrote a check and it just went through the thing. And I looked. They didn't ask me no damn questions. I said, holy shit. Paper game was the game that I did too.
Right.
So I said, oh shit. I started shaking. I said, oh God, I can't do this. And I called my sister. I said, yo, I came into the thing, they didn't ask for no ID, they didn't do nothing. They just took the check. I said, yo, I could get some shit up out of here. I could go ahead and get some money. Like I just started saying that, you know?
Right.
And I was just like, and she said, you gonna get it together or you gonna do it? She was down though, but she was like, you gonna get it together? And I had to think about it. So my aunt came and I said, I'm going back to New York. I said, I ain't staying in this shit. It was all dead for me. I had nowhere to travel, couldn't get around, you know, the way I wanted to. And my aunt told me to come over there with her. Campbellton goddamn Road. Why did I go to Campbellton Road? Campbellton Road was like me being in goddamn New York. I could walk to the store. They had buses, trains, they had everything. Now I'm moving.
Right.
So I went to a store and they had this desk there called McFugels. It was a store called McFugels. And I went in there and I went to do the application. Right, once they told me that. So I said, well, where the manager at? I had on some slippers. I didn't even take a damn shower. I went to the store with her and went up there and asked where the manager at. So I gave him the application. I said, I need a job, right? And he looked, he said, oh, I can't pay you this kind of money. I said, well, how much you paying? $5 fucking dollars.
$5.
$5.25.
An hour.
And I said, I'll take it.
What year was this?
96.
96. Wow.
So it's $5.25. It called me Fugels, and I can only get like a few hours. So then it was Cup Foods that was on the other side. So I called up here to the reader, and I said, say that I worked in the meat department. Right? And I was gonna get a job. That was $10 an hour, so that was like me making $15.25 an hour. That's how I was looking at it, like calculating it, like doing it like that. But McFugels, I only worked in there 2 days, and I never got to go to Cup Food. So when I got in there, me and this lady, we just started kicking and we was talking, but I didn't know they called it defects down there. It was something totally different. And so I met her and she introduced me to somebody else, and I met another person, then Gloria Chu down there. That's how I got my whole start in there. It was Gloria Chu. That was the real world of coming in. And me and her was talking, and I came from diagnostic here, and I worked for Ryan White. You know, I was a detox acupuncturist. It was a lot of different things that I did because even though I was in the streets, I still took up trades and still went to school and did things, right? She hired me on the phone, literally. Because everything she wanted there, I came from it here. So they had about 5 people doing one person's job of what we did here in New York. It was crazy. Only thing I didn't really have to do was go to court, but I did do court because I like to go into court. Like that's my client, I'm going to court. You know?
Listen with y'all and this going to court thing. Like,
well, this is me working. This is the real world. This is the real world for me. That was something totally different. You know, and then it went from there. And then Ludacris, this is before Ludacris was even out. him and Poon Daddy used to come up there. I used to get them to come from the radio station. They would come see all the kids that was, there and the custody. Like they would come do a bunch of stuff. They would bring brand new artists to test out right there. We had what's that? Not Sprite, Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew would come up there all the time and do the stuff for the kids, and that's how that started. And Chris said to me, he said, "Yo, Miss A, that's how I got MECC." MECC came from Ludacris and David Banner. They couldn't say my name. They could not pronounce my name. It was country, so the way they sound. So I named my company MECC. That came from Chris and David Banner.
Saying Miss A.
Saying Miss A.
Nice.
And I named it MECC. That's where it came from. And he said to me, he said, Miss A, he said, when I make it, you're going to get the first check from me. I'm coming back to bring you a check with these kids. Because he was touched with these kids fighting over TVs, like all the stuff that the kids was going through. And he gave me the first $10,000 that he didn't lie.
Salute to Luda.
Ludacris.
Salute to Luda.
Ludacris.
Respect.
He kept his word. Yeah. He kept everything he said that he was going to do. He did that and more. And even to this day, any foundation that I ever loved would be his. And he never, ever, ever got bigged up for it. We was doing so much stuff in the communities. Like I was busting my behind in the community. That's how I came across T.I. T.I. used to come over there. I remember like one Thanksgiving in Bankhead, T.I. came, he had like 3 turkeys. And he had, because we had tons and tons of people there because we was giving out all that food. Right. And he had all these kids chasing them with the show he did, Rubber Band Man, I think it was. Yeah. And they were chasing the van with the turkey. Right. And he used all the people that we had over there. That's how I came in contact and knowing who he was. Right. During that time. But Ludacris, I always will love him. He kept his word. Everything that man said he was going to do, he did it.
It's Hoffa. Trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.